Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is weeknights. I don't know why I pointed to the ground. I I am Shady, aka He Who Pods.
And
Glasses
we're
on today,
going
so also
downtown,
right.
downtown.
Glasses on today, so also rear view mirror.
And I'm Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B, aka Hot Grandma. And I do mean hot. Sizzle, sizzle.
And speaking of hot grandmas, we got to see Cree Summers recently.
I was so excited when I saw her on my screen. I
Same.
was so thrilled. Oh my gosh. She's got to be like, I don't know, like favorite actress, just one of them actually, just easily. I'm so obsessed with Cree Summer. I couldn't even tell you. It just blows me away every time.
She did her thing. And what are we talking about? We're talking about Ironheart, TV show. And so we both saw it, and we're here to share our thoughts. But
Yeah,
yes, the legend, Cree Summers, graced us with her magical presence.
she did. She said, "You know what? I'm gonna show my face this time," because a lot of times she's doing
She does
voiceover
voice
work.
acting. Yep.
Yeah, but man, I said, oh, there she is, because I knew she was a part of it. Um, But you're like in the midst of it and you're watching. So I didn't remember. I wasn't there thinking to myself, where is Cree Summer? I just, was just watching. And then she showed up and I was like, yeah! I was so excited.
Yep.
Um she's such a legend. I'm always excited when she's around. 'Cause I just
Yeah.
feel like she's super talented and not necessarily in all of the conventional ways that people are talented in that field. So I just, you know, she has her own uniqueness to her that I just love.
Yep. And now she's officially part of the Marvel universe.
She is. She is.
So that was pretty cool.
Hmm. Yeah. I would love to see like her end up, being like for them to grow, like her and the daughter. I don't remember her name. Zelma, was it? I think that there's story there, you know?
Yeah.
I think that would be really interesting to see the two of them. I thought Zelma, I'm not sure who played Zelma, but I thought she did a great job too. But um I'm getting ahead of myself. We're getting ahead of ourselves because Cree Summer is kind of like deep, deep into the series. So
You see her in episode 1, but what you're talking about now, yeah, it's later on.
okay. Well, tell me what you thought. We're talking about Ironheart, where it's 6 episodes.
Yep.
Marvel. It's a part of. It's one of Marvel's series.
Right.
Um, I want to get. I'm just looking at my laptop. It is starring Dominique Thorne, Lyric Ross, Anthony Ramos. Some other names you might know: Shea Coulee, Cree Summer, as we said. Um, Eric Andre is in there. Sasha Baron Cohen is in there, which and and lots of other names that I that I have not
Are you
said.
hating on him? Are you hating on Borat right now?
I I just no, I didn't. I sighed. I sighed because I know that there's a lot of um controversy around Sasha Baron Cohen. I don't want to spend our time.
Oh, I'm not hip. You're gonna have to tell me
diving.
offline.
Yeah, and in fact, when I was looking up Ironheart, there were a lot of people who were upset that Sasha Baron Cohen was a part of this project. So and that's the only reason why I was like, because I feel like we could never. I'm not. This is not in defense of him. I just feel like we can never just enjoy something. There's always some sort of curveball. There's always some sort of misbehaving on someone's part, or I just. Somebody said something about Love Island the other day. Cammy Crawford, actually, a lot of people know her as former co-host of Catfish, but she said she was like, sometimes I miss the days where we watched things and like had no idea about people's beliefs. We had no idea about what people's opinions were. We were just watching people on television and we were completely oblivious to who these people were personally. And we could just enjoy it and have it and then be done with it. And sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes I wish that that was still the case. Also, it's this one's on me because I went looking for it, like I'm very much a dual screen person. If I'm watching something on television, a lot of times I'll check other places to see, like, oh, what did this person play in before, or what are people saying about this on Twitter or TikTok or wherever. I'm that. I'm like, every media company's dream, every advertiser's dream, because I sometimes overconsume whatever the thing is. So that's how I end up stumbling upon some of that. Sometimes I'm looking for it. So anyway,
Understood. All right.
what do you
Well,
think of it?
I thought Ironheart was cool. I thought it started off really well,
Hmm.
and the first 3 episodes, they're building the story, the plot, um, and I thought that was cool.
Hmm.
Um, I have a lot of conflicting feelings after that, um,
Hmm.
because episodes 4, 5, and 6 were really weird in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Um, I have seen some people say 4, 5, and 6 are way better than 1, 2, and 3. Um,
Really?
and I think because they want the big Marvel stuff,
Yeah, the
right?
action,
And so they're like, we didn't see
fight
her fighting
scenes,
in a
and
suit, and we didn't see the
hmm
magical powers, and blah blah blah. And so for that aspect, I can understand. But I'm looking at quality of show.
hmm
And so I think one of the things that people forgot, which I feel I must remind them, it even points to your Sasha Baron Cohen point, is this show is really old, actually. This show has been recorded and done for years. It's been sitting on Disney's shelf as Marvel has debated what to do with the show. And so I feel like
hmm
that matters here.
okay.
Um, because it was not a show like Daredevil that got a bunch of reshoots and
Hmm.
they did half the season over. They did
Hmm.
make some changes, but very little changes were made to my understanding. This is basically the show as it was done, which in
Okay.
one aspect is cool, but in another aspect may not live up to some of the more recent things we've gotten from Marvel as far as quality.
Hmm.
Like Daredevil Born Again is a good example of a good quality Marvel show. Um, and you can see how different it is from Ironheart. I thought Ironheart was cool. I thought it was clear Ironheart was trying to um, appeal to younger audiences. Um, but there were some things that, even in that, they messed up. There were some things in like flashbacks, for example, that people were saying that people didn't say back then. Um, they were
Hmm.
trying to use a lot of like hip new verbiage language that the kids use.
Hmm.
Um, it's all right. I feel like overall the show was okay.
Hmm.
I think a lot of the things that happened in episodes 4, 5, and 6 kind of ruined the show for me personally. Like episode 4, I was like, oh, I think they about to mess up the show. I hope not. Hopefully this is just a not so great episode.
Hmm.
And then it got worse. You know, White Castle did not pay us, but I will say that White Castle fight, that whole episode, that whole portion of White Castle, we're fighting inside and outside. It was
Mhm.
terrible. It was terrible how much they asked us to suspend reality in a show that was really not doing that.
Right.
Because we saw the twins beat the shit out of a bunch of grown men, but the two of them struggled to fight against Riri Williams
Yeah.
in a 2-on-1. We saw Clown.
Riri Williams without the suit.
That's important to say. Yes, Riri
Yeah.
Williams without the suit, and who has no fighting skills,
Right. She's
and
just a girl.
just a
she's just
girlfriend.
she's just a young person, like just like any of the other ones when she doesn't have the suit. So it was kind of like also they even fighting against the people she was fighting against. Some of the scene, some of it you could tell was like at one point. I think it was the twins where I was like, it almost seemed like they had superpowers at one point went during that fight scene, and I was like, but do they?
It just was weird. And then Clown threw a bomb, and Riri Williams deflected it. She covered herself with a sheet tray, and it just stopped the bomb. She was okay. And then later, just moments later, Clown threw a bomb. Riri threw it back, and Clown jumped over the table and was just fine. Bombs don't hurt people in this scene somehow. I don't know what happened, but
Right.
all of a sudden bombs don't hurt people. And that made me know that when the car flips over, when the truck flips over, which we all saw in the trailer, that there's no way that what was their name, Slug or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I just had it up here.
Maybe I'm saying maybe that's not the name, but I think that
That
was the
was
name.
I know the person's real name, but not. Yeah, it was Slug.
And then Slug gets flipped over in the truck. I said, so Slug is just gonna walk out and be fine. And that's exactly what happened.
And
Slug walked
did.
out. And Slug was fine. Not a scratch, not a bloody nose, not a bloody lip, not dizzy from like the concussion that they just got. Nah, they just got up and then that was it. Um,
You know, can I jump in for a second about that? Because what frustrated me about that scene with the truck is that you just kidnapped the suit. Spoiler alert. You just kidnapped the suit, right? And you're driving it and you're talking that big talk, and I guess I understand in a sense. I get it, right? Like I see two different sides to this. On one hand, I see where Slug was more of the computer genius, right? So Slug probably really didn't get too involved with the physical stuff often. Um that was what I gathered from that. So them walking away was probably just playing up the fact that they're not really that's not really their function.
oh, like they're not tough.
Not necessarily that they're not tough, but that
They're not a
they
fighter.
drive the car, they disarm the alarms and things like that, but they're not really there to be the muscle,
Oh yeah,
right?
that's not what I mean though. I'm not saying they shouldn't have. I'm not saying they should have fought Riri Williams in the Ironheart suit. What I'm saying is they didn't have a scratch on them.
Yeah,
They were able to physically just walk away fine is what I'm saying.
right.
I'm not criticizing the fact that they walked away. I'm criticizing the fact that they were able to walk at all.
Well, I am criticizing the fact that they walked away. And the reason I'm doing that is because, and I totally understand what you're saying, but the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because they were sent to kill Riri.
The group, yeah.
The group was sent to kill Riri. And at the point where Riri got away and the others weren't able to kill her, now Slug is the one in front of her, and Slug decides to walk away. To me, at that point, it didn't really make sense.
But what could she do against the Ironheart suit? She just didn't have any tech with her or anything. Not like she could have opened her laptop and been like, "I'm about to hack your suit. Hold on."
I don't know.
Yeah, I think all you could do is walk away in that.
Yeah, I just felt like, I don't know. They didn't even try like to at least put Riri in the car or something. Put Riri in the back of the truck. Bring her back or what? You know what I mean? I just feel like they. It was just like, oh well,
Yeah,
not dead. Fine.
yeah.
That was what was odd to me about that.
Mhm.
But then, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I think they wasted the Ezekiel Staines character. I felt like, man, that was such a waste. They could have done so much more with him. To turn him into like a cyborg was weird. Even if it's comic book accurate, I don't know. It still was weird how it happened.
Hmm.
And then he was this genius that got completely manipulated by Hood and the crew. And also, I gotta just say that the elephant in the room for
Hmm.
me is that I didn't believe Anthony Ramos as a bad guy. I think he's a great actor, very talented, and a cool guy. Not hating
Hmm.
on him, but just in this role, never felt like he was a villainous, bad, evil person we should be scared of. Just never. I know that was the character, but it just
Yeah.
never came across that way to me. It was kind of whack. I also feel like we never really saw the Hood's full powers, uh, except bending bullets to his will. Um, yeah. As far as Mephisto, um, I'm glad we finally saw Mephisto. There have been rumors of Mephisto swirling around the MCU forever. We have known that Sacha Baron Cohen was the one who was going to play Mephisto if we ever saw Mephisto for a long time. So it was nice
Hmm.
to finally see Mephisto. Uh, but even that, I was like, all right, but we really didn't. We just saw him making deals with people. We still didn't see the real power of Mephisto or
Right.
what can Mephisto really do. It was almost like I'm probably going to get criticized for this, but it was almost like Sinners, where it's like even in the end, we really
Shots
didn't.
fired. Wow. Now how Ryan Coogler get in it?
Well, he's executive
He's a
producer,
part of the
right?
Marvel
We
Cinematic
wanted to make
Universe.
a.
I know,
They made
but
sure to let us know in all the trailers that he's executive producer.
yes,
Even that, also, I criticized because so what? He didn't direct the show. He didn't write the show.
yeah,
I was looking
um,
every episode at the credits,
yeah,
and
yeah. No, you're right.
I was like, okay, I don't understand. He wasn't even the showrunner, so I don't know. It was a weird show. It was all right, I guess, but I wouldn't watch it again. I thought that they left the ending to interpretation, whether Riri Williams made the deal or not to bring back the real. Um, what was the best friend's name? Natalie.
Natalie.
But I read something that said it's not left to interpretation. She did make the deal.
She
Um,
looked like she was reaching for his hand, but they didn't actually show them shake hands.
and I honestly like that. I thought that it was good if they left it to interpretation. But I
Me
read
too.
something that said it's not to interpretation. Up to interpretation, she did make the deal. So I don't know. Um, I don't know. It was okay. Also, I hated Natalie AI and that whole thing.
Okay.
Can't go on without saying that.
Yeah.
It's
I,
AI. Yeah, I made it way too much of a person. It threw tantrums. Like it was too much.
yeah. Which brings me to another thing that I saw. People felt like they were shoving AI down our throats. I was a
And I
little
think
confused by that because, and I know you share these sentiments. I'm sure you'll chime in, but I Iron Man was using AI from the begin. How do y'all think his suit worked?
from Iron Man 1.
How do you think he was communicating with his suit? I don't. What do you
Jarvis is
guys think
AI.
AI is?
And that is what I think. I don't think people realize how much stuff is AI in real life and in
Hey,
the Marvel universe.
hey guys. um your phones, you know how your phones know things? You know how your phones, I mean, other than the phones listening to us, you know how you know Siri? That's AI. You know, when you talk to your Google Home or you talk to Alexa, that's AI. You know your GPS in your car? That's AI, guys. That's AI. I get it that it's so advanced beyond anything we're experiencing in our present time. Maybe people who are engineers and people who are more involved with the mechanics of machines and things like that are probably more attuned to what we saw. But for the average person, we don't have a hologram of our friend we lost or our sibling we lost or whatnot. So
Right, right.
it's unfathomable to see something like that and not have questions or not think that it's different or weird. I totally understand why people are like, oh my gosh. But what I don't understand is how people are not really understanding what AI is. Um, it's all of these things.
Right.
Um, yeah, like
Yeah.
robots. Like, I just feel like
And
what.
and that's where I think those people are stupid or just not paying attention. Because again, Jarvis was in Iron Man 1 and Jarvis is AI.
It's
Ultron
the
was
whole universe
AI.
starts with AI.
Yeah, Ultron is AI. Um, 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 Vision was birthed through AI. Like, there's so much AI in the Marvel universe that it's like Friday is AI. There's just a lot of AI in the Marvel universe that we've seen. So I was like, this is what y'all think is stuffing it down our throats? Okay, I would argue there's something else they're stuffing down our throats, but I won't.
Yeah, just I don't know. That kind of annoyed me because it was just like people truly are uninformed. People really don't know, and people are very ignorant to certain things. And we have so much access to information today that it's kind of like, how do you not? It's kind of hard to not pay attention to it, right? Um, it's on, and part of it is the moment something has a name. Um, moment something has a title, a definition, then people start to assign it to things, not realizing that a lot of this stuff predates, you know, the way we know it today.
Yes.
So I don't know. I just there's it makes me think of the kids use ship a lot these days. You know what it means to ship people. I looked it up because I was like, this is not new.
Well,
Because I'm an old hag. This is not new. Do you know where shipping comes from? The X Files in the 90s. I was like, okay, I'm not crazy because I was sitting there like, I'm hearing these kids use this word and I've heard people talk about it. Like people say it a lot, I think, these days. But that's what it is. That's where it came from. But anyway, that my point is sometimes you gotta do a little research. Um, most things have an origin that is not just of the now.
right.
Um, but yeah, so
All right,
I had
final thought.
uh,
Final thought. What did you think of the show?
I thought it was cool. I agree that the White Castle scene was overkill. I just felt like that was a lot. I also feel like I get that it's I get that it's within the superhero universe, and I get that this was more about a villain than the typical superhero. I mean, I know that Riri is also Ironheart, but I feel like they focused a lot on like um Anthony Ramos and his his challenges, like with mental health and his family dynamics and whatnot. So I think I think the White Castle scene was weird for a lot of reasons, a lot of things that you said. And I think that kind of like put it in a weird space for me. But then also what I was also weirded out about that we didn't talk about was when what was the guy's name? Um the guy who was Hood's right hand,
John.
John. When when Riri lets John die, to me they changed her character at that point.
Yes.
And maybe that was the intention, but
Yeah.
to me, she goes from thinking she's not a criminal, which I don't know how she didn't think she was a criminal, but she goes from thinking she's not a criminal to letting this man die. And I was like, something about that felt inauthentic to the character. She had no, I mean, later on she would go, "Oh, what have I done?" But in that moment, she had no, it's like she turned into a different person. She had no feelings about leaving him there. And I just felt like that wasn't, I feel like we should have seen that internal turmoil of, do I leave him there? Do I not? That didn't exist in that moment. And to me, that wasn't believable.
Gotcha.
But I understand that, people change, the vibe changes, things switch, you get to a point of no return. But she also gets back to the other side of it pretty quickly where she's like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Blah blah blah. And Natalie kind of quells her fears at that point. But I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was true to who she was.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
I think that's the one thing they did well in this show is make her question who she is.
That's
I
a good
think
way to
that was
look at it.
yeah, I think that's what we're seeing the whole show. Who am
Yeah.
I really? What am I really about? What are my goals? A lot of this was about who do you want to be? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you're right.
I guess last thing I'll say is I really like the way they did the magic stuff in this show. We didn't say anything about it.
Hmm.
I really like the way they did the magic stuff in this show. Incorporating magic and tech is really smart. It also helps pave the way for Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is the character who dwells in both tech and magic.
Hmm.
So this kind of opens up your mind to this being possible because you've already seen it and how it could
Yeah.
be used.
Yeah. No, that I dig that. And also nods at Doctor Strange.
Absolutely. There was a lot of Doctor Strange references.
Yeah.
Even in the end credit scene, he
Yeah.
said, no, I'm looking for not parlor tricks. I'm looking for like supreme magic.
Right. And that's also why I was like, I would love to see Zelma, and I can't remember her mom's name, but Zelma and Cree Summer. I would love to see them do something else because I feel like there's, like, they could easily fit into Doctor Strange's world.
Yeah.
Um so yeah. But
All right. Well, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weeknights.
this was not supposed to be a whole episode. Oopsie. All right,
Thank you for
well,
being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
bye.